Hey guys and gals, it's your buddy Drew with Living History's Mysteries and Ferocious Feline Productions. As you guys can tell, I'm a little messed up right now. We've been having early morning temperatures in the low 40s here in Michigan. And with me walking to work before dawn, it's kind of got to me a little bit. So for this video, I attempted to try a little artificial intelligence that, as you can tell through the video, isn't very intelligent. The voice keeps changing, and well, needless to say, it's a little boogered up. But this video, we're going to take a look at a forgotten president and, sadly, his assassination. Check this out. This is good.
James Abram Garfield rose from poverty to become the 20th President of the United States. He was born in a log cabin in Ohio and worked as a canal boat driver in his youth. Through sheer determination, he put himself through college, became a professor, a Civil War general, and finally a congressman. Garfield's presidency began with great promise on March 4, 1881. He was known for his oratory skills and his commitment to civil rights, advocating for education and civil service reform. However, Garfield's time in office was tragically brief, serving only 200 days. His presidency was cut short by an assassin's bullet. The events of the summer of 1881 shocked the nation and exposed deep flaws in America's political system and medical practices. Garfield's assassination had far-reaching consequences, changing the course of American history. The story of his brief presidency and untimely death is a crucial chapter in the American narrative. His legacy continues to be felt today.
On July 2, 1881, President Garfield arrived at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station in Washington, D.C. in high spirits. He was about to embark on a trip to New England with his two sons, James and Harry. The station bustled with activity that morning.
As Garfield entered the station's waiting room, a man emerged from the shadows. This was Charles Guiteau, a deranged office seeker who had been stalking the president for weeks. Guiteau carried a British bulldog revolver, chosen for its ivory handle, believing it would look good in a museum display. Guiteau approached Garfield from behind and fired 2 shots. The first bullet grazed Garfield's arm, and the second struck him in the back, lodging near his pancreas. The president collapsed to the floor and chaos erupted in the station. Guiteau attempted to flee but was quickly apprehended. Doctors rushed to Garfield's side, initially believing his wound was not fatal.
The shooting of President Garfield sent shockwaves through the nation, plunging the country into disbelief and mourning. As news of the shooting spread, Americans gathered in churches and public squares to pray for their wounded leader. The next 80 days would be a period of national anguish and suspense. Garfield's condition deteriorated, and the nation watched in horror. Charles Guiteau was plagued by delusions and mental instability, with a troubled past and failed endeavors in law and theology. He believed he was destined for greatness, fixating on the idea that he had played a crucial role in Garfield's election. In reality, Guiteau's contribution to Garfield's campaign was minimal, but he believed he deserved a diplomatic post. His requests were consistently rebuffed, fueling his growing resentment and instability.
Guiteau's decision to assassinate Garfield was rooted in his warped worldview. He believed that by killing Garfield, he would be saving the Republican Party, and that Vice President Chester A. Arthur would be more amenable to his demands. In his deranged mind, this act would make him a hero. He even prepared a letter to deliver to General William Tecumseh Sherman, requesting protection from mob violence after the assassination.
During his trial, Guiteau's erratic behavior continued. He insisted that God had commanded him to kill Garfield and claimed that while he had shot the president, it was the doctors who had killed him. Guiteau even attempted to raise money for his defense by selling his autograph. His trial became a media sensation, raising important questions about the insanity defense in American law. Despite his obvious mental instability, Guiteau was found guilty. He was hanged on June 30th, 1882, less than a year after the assassination. Guiteau's actions highlighted the dangers of the patronage system and the need for civil service reform. His delusions and the tragic outcome underscored the importance of addressing mental health issues in society. The medical treatment President Garfield received after the shooting was woefully inadequate. Medical knowledge in 1881 was primitive. Doctors repeatedly probed Garfield's wound with unsterilized instruments.
Dr. Willard Bliss took charge, confident but misguided. He insisted on searching for the bullet. Bliss's probing caused immense pain and worsened Garfield's condition. Garfield's weight dropped drastically.
As Garfield's condition deteriorated, the nation watched in horror. President James A. Garfield died on September 19, 1881. The assassination of President Garfield threw the nation into political turmoil. Vice President Chester A. Arthur was suddenly thrust into the presidency.
Arthur surprised critics by embracing civil service reform and signing the Pendleton Act.
The public outcry against patronage grew louder, paving the way for meaningful reforms. Garfield's death led to increased security measures for future presidents. It also brought Americans together in shared grief, transcending regional and political divisions. The assassination of James Garfield had far-reaching consequences for American society and governance. Perhaps the most immediate impact was on the medical field. The public outcry led to significant advancements in medical practices. Politically, Garfield's death accelerated civil service reform. The Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act was a direct result. The assassination highlighted the vulnerability of American leaders. This led to increased security measures for presidents.
Please like and subscribe to the channel.
Welcome back. You know, it's like I was saying in the beginning. As we look back through history, we can pick out the few presidents who, sadly enough, somebody disagreed with them so much that they thought the right thing to do would be to try to take their life. President Garfield, for some reason, isn't taught about in the history books anymore. He was barely taught in the history books when I was in school 37 years ago. It's always important to go back and look through history and remember these men and their actions. In the very short time that President Garfield was in office, just over 200 days, he managed to accomplish some great things. It's sad that history is so packed full of interesting facts that there's no room to teach half those interesting facts. I personally believe the more interesting you make something, the more people are going to take it upon themselves to study it. But that's all we got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this look back at an almost totally forgotten man who accomplished some almost totally forgotten things. Until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. We do. And we'll see you out there.